Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Lens Talk. My name's Paul, I'm your host for today, and here we are to talk about a very popular lens, which is the Sigma 150 to 600mm f5 to 6.3 DGOS HSM Contemporary. This one is for the Canon mount, but typically you'll be paying about £800 for this particular lens. It's important to note that the price has increased by £60 in the last couple of months. I'm not sure what's the reason behind that, however I thought I'd just mention that. So you may be able to pick it up a lot cheaper than Amazon is selling it for. Right, obviously who is this for? Well, it's for anyone who's interested in doing telephoto work. At 150 to 600mm, it's a huge range that. So what that means is on a crop sensor camera, if you're using something like the 7D, the 750, 760Ds, 600D, the 70D, 80D, basically you're going to be getting about 950, 960 millimeters focal length, which is impressive, and it's optical stabilized, so it is a really good lens for anyone. And basically I've done a lot of comparisons in terms of image quality, and it's really good quality imagery that I've seen. It's certainly on par with the Canon 100 to 400 Mark II at 400mm. So if you basically was to decrease the size of 600 or up-res the resolution from the 100 to 400 up to 600mm, basically you're getting comparable results between the Sigma and the Canon. I found the image quality to be fantastic. This Sigma are certainly doing an impressive job with their new line of new vision lenses, and the only negative I found is I thought maybe the tripod collar could have been a bit bigger and made it easier to carry around. It's about 2 kilogram weight, so it is reasonably hand-holdable. I wouldn't say it's not hand-holdable at all. If you're wearing some sort of some sort of strap system where you can hang it off your chest, you won't feel the weight at all. And it's a fantastic walk-around lens for doing any sort of wildlife. Obviously, you have to take into consideration that the aperture of 6.3 is quite dark, so it means it's good in bright conditions, but obviously when it starts to get a bit darker you might find it a bit limiting. That's why I always find it a good idea to pair this lens with the 70-200 2.8 lens. So basically when it starts to get dark you can switch lenses. In terms of its optical stabilization, I thought it was pretty good. Sigma claim 4 stops. I sometimes think it's probably nearer to 3, if I'm honest with you, because I did try doing some video on this with the optical stabilizer, and while it did do a good job, it didn't keep it completely steady, even on a tripod. But again, you've got to remember that it's 960mm on a crop sensor camera, and I was using this on the 7D. On full frame, obviously, you'll benefit with more light coming through the lens, but obviously not as much focal length at 600mm. It can take the Sigma and Canon extenders and teleconverters. It does alright, to be honest. I think you'll get away with the 1.4 on one of the cameras that can autofocus at f8, such as the 5D Mark III, 7D Mark II, or one of the 1D bodies, because they all can autofocus at f8. And I found the quality that you can get some fine feather detail quite easily, and it's a joy to use this particular lens. Fantastic quality. If you're out in the field, you might want to consider putting a lens coat on it to protect the plastic, because obviously the majority of this particular model of the lens, it is plastic. But I would highly recommend this lens if you can get it to do any sort of photography or wildlife work. If you're planning on going to Kenya, doing some safari work, please seriously consider this as an option to take with you. If you are going to go on a safari, I would recommend you take 2 cameras with you, just in case one fails, and lots of memory cards. But I hope this recommendation is a good one for you, because I certainly use it. In fact, I own it. It's that good, and I feel it's a fantastic lens to pair with the 70-200 2.8. So, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.